South Carolina, nothing easy, nothing cute, nothing finesse this year about the Gamecocks.
Students are on spring break here at South Carolina, but it hasn't dampened the enthusiasm here in this building. They are rocking and ready to go for this noon tip. Florida coming off of a closer than expected game against Missouri on Wednesday, in which Tyree Samuel took over with a double-double. Their bigs are a big part of their team. Nothing doing there. And for South Carolina, again, a shuffled starting five. They'll be without Miles Stewart for the third consecutive game today. Meechie Johnson and Talon Cooper have been magnificent. B.J. Mack might be the guy that can get the bigs away from the basket. Here's a touch from the freshman, Colin Murray-Boyles, and he is fouled on the drive.
Does Florida understand that Colin Murray-Boyles is left-handed and a power guy around the rim? They just shaded his right shoulder, and Colin Murray-Boyles will eat that up. He's really good with both hands, attacking the basket and finishing.
South Carolina coming off of a last-second win Wednesday on the road at Texas A&M. They got a game-winning layup with 3 seconds left. The Mavericks team pretty good at home, and the first bucket goes for Talon Cooper. Here are the starting five for Todd Golden's Gators. This team has been consistent with their starters, but they also have great depth, including the 6'11" Alex Condon, who comes off the bench.
Time for teams or folks that have not watched South Carolina play a lot. They are outstanding at guarding theirs, guarding the ball, forcing turnovers, and pounding away on that defensive glass.
And an early takeaway. Here's Meechie Johnson into the paint with a dish. Murray-Boyles, local kid, does good, has been red hot lately.
He has not made a three-point shot this year, and he's one of the most impactful guys in this league. A power player at that 4 position is 30 and white.
Gators are still sleeping.
Yeah. I mean, I was alarmed at the very first possession when they let Colin Murray-Boyles get to that left paw, but this is the strength this kid plays with. South Carolina is not overly talented, but they do have a kid in that freshman class in Colin Murray-Boyles that can physically take over a game.
Last 6 games, he's given them 16 points, 7 boards, and he's shooting 69%. Out of AC Flora High School, just down the road here in Columbia. Zachary Davis for 3. That one just kicks off the rim, and a chance for Florida. Lamont Paris telling us yesterday his biggest concern with the Gators, their spurt ability, but staying in front has been simple enough. It's forced 3 turnovers.
It's so important in basketball, and Lamont Paris is a very simple scheme guy in the right areas, and they are stars at guarding the ball, boxing off, and getting a shot. Watch the number of possessions, Tom, in this game that South Carolina will pass 5 or 6 times, only bounce it once or twice once they get into their stuff.
354th in the country in tempo. I'll tell you that most of that starts in the defensive end, but it's also their identity on this side of the floor. And a sloppy possession there, collected by Micah Hanlogton. Florida team driven primarily by its backcourt of Poland and Walter Clayton Jr. Zion Poland came to the Gators from UC Riverside. His pull-up will roll home. First bucket for Florida nearly 3 minutes in.
Yeah, if you're Florida, you're going to have to make some guarded shots in this game. South Carolina, they just do not open up their hips. They square you up. They stay between you and the basket as well as anybody in this league.
Another whistle, and this one going against South Carolina. B.J. Mack with an illegal screen.
Tom, here's what I'm talking about. Poland's going to have to take a hard guarded shot here because Meechie Johnson does a good job of sucking up the airspace and challenging, forcing a tough challenge too. You've got to keep the guards from Florida under control of this game if you're South Carolina.
Zion Poland is coming off of a 21-point performance in their win against Missouri. Hit 4 of 5 from 3. Walter Clayton Jr. left it short. That burst just doesn't seem to be there in the first 4 minutes from Florida today.
I agree.
Deep 3 is no good, and a patient rebound goes out of bounds off of South Carolina. Talon Cooper just kind of let it go. He thought it was off of Florida. Here's Condon, first off the bench for the Gators.
It's interesting that South Carolina and Florida very, very similar in terms of they both are making 8 3-point shots per game in conference play at 33-34%. And we think of Florida as a stretch you out, fire away team. And South Carolina can match them from the 3-point line. Florida, though, that front line scoring ability, always a concern as well.
Poland working on Cooper. Active South Carolina defense knocks it out of bounds with 14 on the shot clock.
Tom, just check a number of bounces of the ball in Florida's half-court offense compared to South Carolina's. Two contrasting different styles offensively.
Strictly from a tempo standpoint, Florida wants to be much quicker. They're top 30 in the country getting up and down the floor. Poland from the elbow. Got it.
Going to have to make them today. You're going to have to make those tough twos that they don't love you back. They flirt with you. In this game, you're going to have to play with a little bit and make more than you miss.
Carolina 2 for 2 inside the arc to start this game. Gamecocks have missed both of their 3-point attempts. Jacoby Wright has been hot from deep lately. Here's Murray Boyles. And they bring the double. He's able to find Gray, but Gray can't finish. Murray Boyles the offensive board. Cooper for 3. Gamecocks 0 for 3 from deep to start. Poland, another mid-range. Gets it back out to Clayton, who played limited minutes in the Missouri game. Fouled out with 14 minutes to go, and he throws it away. We got a tractor pull early. Both teams trying to get out of the mud after feeling each other out. We're tied at 4.
And again, they don't beat themselves is the best way to describe this team in white. And just count the number of passes in this game that South Carolina passes more than they bounce the ball, and this is one of them.
Gators are bringing a big double on Murray Boyles every time he gets a block touch. Jacoby Wright.
Tom, to my point, I think there was 7 or 8 passes in that possession, maybe 2 bounces of the ball. Very unique and hard to guard.
Lamont had an interesting take about what they do defensively. He said, listen, teams have, I don't know, 4 or 5 of their favorite plays. Why do they run them? They run them because they work. So sometimes, right back to back. Sometimes you're going to get beat on their best plays. It's what you do against every other play, and that attention to detail that pays off. Condon hesitated. He's a good 3-point shooter, but didn't pull the trigger.
It is just so difficult to get inside the teeth of this South Carolina defense. They are magnets on the ball.
Here's Condon. Trying to go through it. And a late shot that comes up short. Great defense by Stephen Clark.
One of the best offensive rebound teams in the country. Florida can get no second opportunity so far in this game.
Gamecocks have hit back-to-back threes to take a 6-point lead. Now Florida stepping up on the defensive end. Zachary Davis with the mid-range.
You cannot go under a guy in the SEC on scholarship when he's at the 13-foot mark. Just an offensive clinic right now by the Gamecocks early.
Davis has had back-to-back career highs. Post touch for Condon. They dig down on him. He got Gray in the air, and Gray recovered to block it. 8-0 Gamecock run. Jacoby Wright again.
It looked good coming off his wrist, did it not?
Yep. Florida has missed its last 4 opportunities. Poland got off balance, but still got the bucket, and he's going to the line.
Tom, the ball movement of South Carolina is crisp, and they're a very, very good passing team. And they get that thing moving. They get your defense and defensive rotations time and time again. It's just a matter of time so someone is left open on that weak side, and they get that thing reversed 2 or 3 times. It's easy money, and they are always a threat to throw ahead, especially to this kid Wright. He just has a knack to find those open spots in their conversion offense.
So here's Zion Poland at the free throw line, making his 97th career start today. Top Tied for third in school history at 23 consecutive double-figure scoring games, going back to Nick Kalathis in '96.
How clean is he with the basketball, though? Only 17 turnovers by Poland in 550 minutes of SEC play. Man, that is a winning number at every level.
The ball control for Florida is otherworldly when you factor in their tempo. Right and one. He's got 8 early. He's looking for his 9th.
Yeah, Florida's they are asleep defensively in this game. But Wright has shown the ability to knock down threes, so you come out at him. And Riley Kugel, just no resistance at all as a weak side defender. And Tom, you've heard me talk about it before. You win games by guarding the ball side of the floor. You win championships by guarding the weak side of the floor. Riley Kugel that time nowhere in the picture.
The effort on the defensive end is what determines how many minutes Kugel will get. But like the rest of his teammates, a slow start on that side. Carolina shooting 55%. Tyrese Samuel coming off a double-double. Florida looks slow on the defensive end and hesitant on the offensive end. No hesitation for Thomas Houck.
Houck is part of that young, talented, strong, tough front line.
PJ Mack back on the floor, a three-point threat. They want to use him to pull Florida's bigs from the basket. Here's his first attempt from deep. And it's ripped down by the 6'9" Houck out of Pennsylvania.
Another possession of 6 passes and 1 bounce of the ball.
Kugel gives Florida 10 points a game. A starter last year and early this season. Great effort on the offensive glass. That can be a difference maker for Florida, 3rd in the country, pulling down 39% of their misses.
Well, those are the mistakes that Lamont Paris has a very short leash for. I mean, they thrive on boxing you out, and Kugel just ran down his own miss, won the foot race to the ball.
A double now on Mack. He had to fight out of it. Shot clock's at 8. Ugasuk with the kick. 4 on the clock now. Another kick out. Wright got to get it up. And the floater is an air ball.
Wright probably should have taken the clean 3 on the initial catch. And think about Dalton Knecht, 36 points or more 4 times this year. And a lot of people have already predetermined Zach Edey to be the National Player of the Year. I say hold the vote and let this thing play out, because Dalton Knecht has to be right there in the conversation with Zach Edey. As dominant as Edey is, this Dalton Knecht kid could certainly prove himself over the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's the Player of the Year, not the Player of November through February. Does that make sense?
Or last year.
Or last year. That's exactly right.
Great finish by Tyrese Samuel. Florida on a 6-0 run right now. As lethargic as the Gators have looked at times this afternoon, they are right in the thick of things with South Carolina. Here's Talon Cooper. And now Michi Johnson with the shot clock late had to force it up.
Best defensive possession by Florida so far in this game.
Gators have made 4 of their last 5. Kugel out to Houck. Better pass maybe would have gotten him a look, and now Kugel with the return.
Really good job by Kugel to drive, shrink the defense, kick it out. And Tom, once he kicked it out, he made a hard exit cut to that far corner. And look at Florida. They took a punch earlier or 2, and now up 1.
First lead of the game for the Gators. They've won 3 straight here in this building in a series that dates to 1926, when both Florida and South Carolina were Southern Conference foes. Shot clock late again. It's at 4. Now 2. And a bump and a rejection. And Florida with another great defensive effort.
That was all dribbling, no passing by the Gamecocks on that possession, and Florida just ate it up.
Samuel passes out of the double to Kugel, shares it again, and here come the Gators. Thomas Houck in Florida on an 11-0 run.
And you're seeing a glimpse of why Riley Kugel is so talented, and Todd Golden continues to go with this kid. Lets him play through some defensive lapses, but man, is he explosive.
There's one, but he got away with it when Michi Johnson missed the layup. Kugel dishes. Richard in the lane, another extra pass, and Samuel gets challenged into a short miss. A share from a foot away, and Samuel got it! Wow. He's going to the free throw line for a three-point play. 2 passes within 2 feet.
What a punchback by Florida. Here's what I'm talking about. That inside game of Florida is so difficult to handle, and then they just pound you, Florida does, on the offensive glass. I mean, they're third in the country, Tom, right at 40% on the offensive glass. And South Carolina has got to stick with their principles and get body on body and make this a body blow game.
Florida started the game struggling in the paint, but now they're 2 for their last 3 at the rim. Tyrese Samuel had 28-10 against Mizzou on Wednesday night, and he's got a 3-point play here. We got a women's basketball triple header for you Sunday, starting right here in this building. Number 1 undefeated South Carolina has won 50 consecutive home games. They get a Tennessee program in which they won 5 straight against, all by double digits. Nothing doing on the Carolina end. Here comes Florida again.
Talked with Don Staley yesterday and got a legitimate chance to go back-to-back in the SEC undefeated. And we met Champ.
Yep.
Yeah, she actually got her first dog after they won their first national title here. And Champ is the star of the Colonial Life Arena. Comes to work with Don every day. And even sits at practice at half court. Look at this as we take a pause in the action for Champ Staley. And man, so many coaches this time of the year, they would do themselves well to bring a puppy to practice and calm them down just a little bit. But man, what a little soldier Champ is. Loved my time getting to know Don Staley's dog yesterday.
Yeah, I saw Champ leaving the practice facility yesterday, just strutting its way to the door right in front of national championship coach. Shot clock at 5. Kugel yanks from deep and left it short. I'm not sure they were aware. And then a step on the end line. What a run for the Florida Gators. They've come on the road. They took that first punch and they've answered with a flurry.
And what they've done is they've started guarding their tails off in this half court. And South Carolina has been bouncing the ball too much in terms of who they really are. I expect coming out of this timeout, this ball should be popping, moving, getting back to that passing, screening of what South Carolina basketball really is. There it is.
There's a back cut, but it's covered up. Murray Boyles gets stuck. Shot clock's at 6. Wright with 5, and he's able to draw the foul. That's charged to Will Richard.
He has been their offense, right? A key guy. 14 points in the win against Kentucky this year. 38% from the three-point line in SEC play. Can break off and go get you one.
He had the game winner against Missouri in overtime in their matchup. Here's right at the free throw line. Another one coming. College basketball Saturday. What a slate we have. Carolina home against NC State. Virginia travels to Durham. And Saturday prime game. Sonic blockbuster. Number 4 Tennessee. 14th ranked Alabama. In a loaded SEC, Jimmy, you could have a 6-way tie for the conference title.
Yeah.
Yet as of today, Joe Lunardi only has 7 teams in.
And Tennessee is still in search of possibly being a 1 seed in that NCAA tournament. Their schedule strength in front of them, if they were to win, there's no way you don't put Tennessee on that 1 seed.
They got 4 consecutive games against top 20 teams to end the regular season. Toughest stretch in school history.
Yeah.
They've been playing for a while, and Thomas Houck throws in his first triple. 8-point Florida lead.
When they are good, and you said it during the break, Florida's good is as good as anybody out there that you're watching in college basketball right now. They're not on that line with UConn and different teams that there's 1 and 2 seeds, but they can beat those teams when they're at their best.
Another foul on consecutive Florida possessions. That one's charged to the freshman from New Oxford, Pennsylvania, Thomas Houck. Here's what we're talking about in the SEC. Absolutely loaded. A lot of these teams will play each other, including Tennessee coming here next Wednesday. And Alabama goes to Florida on Tuesday. With front row seat for both of them.
Yeah, Tom, it really sets up what's going to be an absolute fist fight in Nashville, that SEC tournament. Legitimately 8-9 teams I can make a case for. You can see in that championship game on Sunday, these two certainly are 2 of them.
And I feel like, Jimmy, with Zachary Davis looking at another free throw, because of Carolina's defensive intensity and their tempo, they do things differently than those other 5.
They do, and therefore they will be a very difficult first-round opponent for somebody in that NCAA tournament. If you have not played against a grinded-out style like Carolina throws at you, it will shock you the first 3 or 4 minutes that you're on the floor with it. Bad reach.
First on Zachary Davis. Florida started this game just 2 for 9 on the offensive end. Gators have now made 8 of 11. Is it focus? Was it effort? Just being lethargic? What was it early for Todd Golden's squad?
Just not quite at that magic level, as my college coach Eddie Sutton used to talk about all the time. But they quickly found the magic level after that first media timeout.
Zion Poland with the crossover on Cooper. Fade away from 15, goes in and out. Richard is there, another offensive board, but it's blocked by Murray Boyles. Gamecocks haven't made a field goal in nearly 7 minutes, but they've been fouled on 3 consecutive trips. That's the first on Poland.
And Lamont Paris knows his guys are a little bit stuck right now in the half-court offense, so when they do get that defensive rebound, the speed of South Carolina has increased just over the last 4 or 5 minutes in this game.
So Zachary Davis has 2 coming his way. 62% from the free throw line on this season.
Tom, you asked me earlier, this game is actually being simulcast on ESPN and at the same time on the SEC network, and I got the answer for you. We do not get paid twice today. It's still it just counts as one game.
You already know. Well, I'm going to ask you before I ask you.
I've been around you a lot this year.
Another one coming for Davis, coming off of a career-high 16. And we got a free throw line lane violation of Poland. So another opportunity for Davis. He got his first start against Arkansas when Miles Studi missed a game. Studi, first a shoulder injury, then a knee injury. South Carolina has made its hay at the free throw line. That's kept him in this game at home. Here's Clayton. Mismatch with Murray Boyles. Clayton gives it right back to Samuel. Tried to scoop a reverse on the freshman. Shot clock late. Blocked this time. And another putback denied. Here comes Carolina looking for momentum. Cooper. Skip pass and a drive, and Carolina will keep it moving. Now Cooper again. Three ball good.
It all started with the initial reverse of the basketball in transition. And from that point on, Florida was playing into a closeout.
Margin of error when you're trying to win a conference championship in the SEC and you got 5 other teams reaching for that same goal with only a week left in the season. Every possession matters.
Every possession is magnified.
Samuel downhill.
That's really good action now, that timeout by Todd Golden. Just a little bit of traffic for South Carolina to work through, but it all ends up in that middle ball screen roll for a really fierce roll action for Tyrese Samuel.
Foul is charged at Talon Cooper. Here's Tyrese Samuel, grad student from Montreal, Quebec. Transferred in from Seton Hall. He's got 6 early.
Boy, he's been good late. 19 points and 8 rebounds over the past 3 games. And Todd Golden will let him shoot 1 3-point shot per game. If the first one goes in, he can shoot another. If the first one doesn't go in, get back inside and start pounding away.
He put up a line in the Kentucky game that hadn't been matched for a road game against a top 10 opponent since Tim Duncan. 22 points, 13 boards, and 4 blocks in the overtime win at Rupp. Florida's played in a ton of close games this season, including 3 overtime contests. That's great action. And Michi Johnson off the curl finishes with a layup.
Yeah, they really wrap those off-ball screens at that high elbow area, Tom, as well as anybody in this league. Shoulder to shoulder, friction coming off.
Offensive rebound and a putback for Florida. Thomas Houck again, who is perfect from the floor.
And Florida is working over a very physical front line of South Carolina. on those inside baskets, that roll action on the offensive glass. It's not easy to do.
Johnson, another drive. Great pump fake. He got Houck in the air.
Good play-by-play call by you, because he could have immediately gone up and probably would have got his stuff thrown.
Yeah.
Instead, he plays off a two with a little bit of a shot fake to get the defender off balance. Smart, high-Q guard play by Meechie Johnson.
You put that one up in front of Houck, and it ends up on Eugene Street. Instead, two coming for Johnson, and South Carolina can thank the free throw line for hanging in here in the second quarter of this first half. He's got three. Men's basketball coming your way Wednesday night on the SEC Network. Vandy and 16th ranked Kentucky. To Rupp Arena, 9 Eastern.
Time I was in here at 7:30 this morning prior to South Carolina's pregame breakfast at 8 o'clock, and Meechie Johnson was in here doing work since about 7:15. And he's a kid that just gets it. And he made several key, tough, rugged makes at the rim against A&M.
His dad, good friends with LeBron James. In fact, Meechie was in the locker room after the NBA Finals 2018 lost to Golden State. LeBron has numerous times showed his support for
Offensive.
Meechie. Blocking foul.
I thought Clayton got away with a little bit of a push-off. 46% on the offensive glass is what Florida has gotten in this game. And they third in the country at right at 40%. And Tom, South Carolina, they pride themselves on knocking you out when the ball's in the air as a defensive rebounding team. And they've got to stay with it the entire ball game against this tough Florida front line.
Oh, it is sizable and it is deep. They can run waves of 6'10" to 7-footers at you. They bring a double on Mack, and Murray Boyles is there.
What a pass by Mack. Throws a fastball from about 10 feet away. Great soft pause by Colin Murray Boyle.
First lead for South Carolina since it was 14-12. Poland penetrates. 10-footer good.
Well, they've made 4, maybe 5 tough guarded twos in this game. And you've got to do it against South Carolina. You don't live by it, but against the Gamecocks, you got to make your fair share.
Florida has been doubling the post, whether at the block or in the short corner. That's what opened it up for Murray Boyles a moment ago. Clayton cuts off the ball. Freshman with the drive. There is a double. Mack for 3. Gators the other way. Clayton with the hard bounce.
Nice pivot. Wow, Tom, how good was the pivot for a freshman through contact? He didn't get sped up. He made that second pivot to get himself freed up. Really well done.
Now for a second, the ballet was at the Koger Center last night instead of Hamilton. Nice move by the 6'11" freshman from Perth, Australia. Clayton stop, pop, drop. Wow! What a huge 3 for his first bucket, and the Gators on a 7-0 run.
If you fall asleep in Florida's conversion offense, Clayton will just dial it up. Your pickup point has to be a step or 2 higher than normal.
A 3 answered from Jacoby Wright. He's got a dozen. Carolina is undefeated when he scores in double figures. Poland got some space. Murray Boyles the board. Carolina's shots seem to be coming earlier in the clock, and now a turnover. 4th of the game for the Gamecocks. Riley Kugel short. Another offensive board. Florida is struggling at the rim in this game, but the offensive rebounds they pulled in have negated that inefficiency. Meechie Johnson, former Ohio State Buckeye, with the rebound.
Well, it may take a timeout. Yeah, I thought he would. This would be a good time to set a ball screen and get a guard going downhill to try to close out this half. And B.J. Mack comes up with a curl ball screen. Wow, what a careless pass.
Samuel tipped it loose. It turned into an advantage for Cooper. And Murray Boyles with the kick out for 3. Rebounded by Tyrese Samuel.
Pretty much what I thought Carolina would try to do, though, Tom. They weren't going to settle for a jump shot on that possession.
11-second difference. Game clock and shot clock. Pullen probes and pulls it out. Clayton nearly walked with it when he took that pass.
And Carolina clean up this miss if there is one.
4 on the shot clock. Clayton for 3. Another big one.
There's not one. How about Walter Clayton? If you are lazy and low at all off of a ball screen, he is going to fire that 3.
Mack has it blocked by Handlocked in to end the half. What an effort by Walter Clayton Jr. 2 late threes. That's the difference in his 6-point Florida advantage on the road against South Carolina. That last shot before half, and Walter Clayton, with 17 seconds left, hit a huge 3 that may be the difference once we're done.
No doubt. Now, I saw DJ Wagner throw one in right before the half Tuesday at Mississippi State. And Kentucky ends up winning at the buzzer. Those shots matter way more than we realize.
Well, South Carolina had the perfect play drawn up coming out of half, but a turnover gives it right back to Florida.
And Lamont Paris will tell you, what do we do well? We always get a shot and we keep you off the glass. 2 things right now they have to tighten up in this second half.
Kick out to Richard. He's off the mark with his 3. And after the fight for the rebound, it will belong to South Carolina. I thought talking to Lamont yesterday offered great insight into his teaching. By the way, Shane Beamer, South Carolina football coach, was there, sat in on film study with them. And Lamont said, listen, if you're sitting in your geometry class in high school and you don't get the problem, does it help if your teacher starts screaming at you?
Yeah,
no, put you in a shell.
Absolutely. It was very much a classroom teacher-pupil atmosphere yesterday, and it reminded me of what I saw out of Bo Ryan in Wisconsin at Maui several years ago, and that's exactly the DNA and how Lamont coaches the game.
17 seasons as an assistant coach, including back-to-back Final Fours with Wisconsin in 14 and 15. Florida trying to take this game over in the paint. The denial on one side, Tyrese Samuel baby hook on the other.
And for South Carolina, where is B.J. Mack in this game? I know he's on the floor right now, 2 in white. He's your leading scorer in conference play and has not scored a point in this ball game so far. He's got to show up in his second half. This kid right here with the ball.
Trying to take advantage of a mismatch. Now he gets doubled. Mack out to Cooper. Pull up 3. Good.
Tough shot, but a really good run behind, fill behind, violent cut by Cooper to get open.
Skip pass to Richard. Good help defense from Murray Boyle. Shot clock at 12. Pullen wants a screen. Samuel left open. Dribbles into an 8-footer. Those shots didn't go against Alabama in an overtime loss on the road, and that was a difference in another Florida close loss.
Tom, the analytics against Florida, very interesting. When one of their bigs takes a 15-foot tough 2, their offensive rebound percentage drops to about 20%. And there's that violent run behind fill by Cooper.
Samuel created a little bit of space. Murray Boyles didn't like it. Neither did the home crowd. Pullen got a bump from Cooper. Muscles his way in and drew the foul. It's number 2 on Talon Cooper.
Defend without fouling. Always a key in tough, tight tassels between 2 top 25 teams.
Well, this is a real black and blue battle. Yeah. Pulling at the free throw line. You could call it the Spurrier Bowl if it was a football game, and it kind of feels like a football game inside 15 feet. Pullen's got one more.
Both these teams ranked inside the top 25. Both these teams very capable of getting to that second weekend into the Sweet 16. I think the SEC's got a handful of teams capable of that this year.
6-point Florida advantage. Talon Cooper, 4th in career assists among active players in NCAA basketball. And Mack had to go through his hands and right to Murray Boyles. Well, that's a good kind of whiff. Second on Handlockton.
BJ Mack rolls out of it. His eyes get on the ball. The ball didn't surprise him. He just missed it. Whiffed. Good descriptive call by you.
And so Murray Boyles to the free throw line. What a run for this freshman from right here in Columbia. Spent 1 year in high school out in Utah at Wasatch Academy, but he's now a regular starter. 14th consecutive start today. He battled mononucleosis early in the season. That had an impact on his lift and his explosiveness, but Lamont Paris saying this kid has exceptional balance. It's natural growth for a freshman, but now he understands how to use that big body of his.
When Lamont Paris got hired, he was one of the first guys to go see in the recruiting process. Wow, what a roll. Hey, Tom, that was a power roll and a finesse finish by Samuel. Very difficult to pull off.
Michi Johnson with the dish. Mack got 2 Gators in the air and finishes.
Now, BJ Mack also wants to shoot threes, but he's got to get involved in this game with his big body inside. Finally, BJ Mack puts points on the board.
Another bump on a drive there. Physical. Cooper with the strip. Shoving in midcourt between Samuel and Murray Boyles, and the foul at the bucket, and they'll count it.
Wow.
This is a short track NASCAR race tonight.
If you're not bumping, you're not racing. Watch Samuel. That's a forceful roll and a finesse floater finish like you see a 6-foot guard pull off. And the answer, and I felt like that contact was on the ground. Todd Golden almost lost it looking across. I spoke with Todd as he's walking off the floor. Tom, he was very happy with his guys. Got themselves up off the mat after the first 4 minutes. Started punching back, and to his point, he said, I think that's about as good as we've guarded all year in this first half. It has to continue in the second.
Clayton contested 3. Carolina trailing by 3. Gamecocks have made 3 in a row. Here's Murray Boyles. Michi Johnson gathers and turns it over.
Careless, aren't they? Carolina, careless.
Poland has a wedge into the rim, and they'll count it. Goaltending and a foul. They'll look at it. They call goaltending. We'll have a chance to review it when we step away for this timeout on the floor.
It's going to be reviewed. Does the ball get on that glass before the defender comes into play? The speed push. Ball goes up. I think it's the right call. Florida has not turned the ball over, Tom, in almost 10 minutes of game action.
A little bit of bookkeeping. They reviewed that goaltending and confirmed it hit the backboard before the contact was made.
Got him.
Johnson shares it, and they back it out. That size really impacting. 7-1 handlocked, and now Cooper drives on. Has to kick it out for 3. Good! Jacoby Wright.
Big time is this kid today. Keeping South Carolina in the game. Handlocked and really good, though, at shutting off the rim. Understanding the wood is your friend as an interior defender.
3 the other way. That one's good. Walter Clayton Jr. hit 2 late in the first half. Now he's got his 3rd of the night.
That's not Jacoby Wright. I mean, Jacoby Wright makes a 3 and then gives up a 3. Just late to Clayton.
Johnson with a 17-footer. That's buried. Back and forth we go on this Saturday afternoon. Shot clock at 10. Clayton around Condon. Tried to bounce it to him. It was kicked. And they'll reset the shot clock to 20.
Or Clayton can get it going in a hurry, man. his ability to come off of screens, and Jacoby Wright just melts into the screen instead of fighting over, caboosing a shooter. I mean, if you're Jacoby Wright, you're guarding yourself when you're guarding a guy like Clayton. Very similar games. You know what bothers you? Do that to the guy you're guarding.
Clayton from deep.
Gotta get him off of him. Gotta get him off of him. I mean, Lamont Paris saying the same thing. I don't care if you're making it through, you giving up back-to-back threes right now.
Carolina 5 of 6 second half. Gators have made each of their last 3. Here's Poland downhill. A bump from Cooper. And that's the 3rd personal on Talon Cooper.
Walter Clayton is seeing a really big rim. And Jacoby Wright again, just not urgent right here. He backs up, his feet are on the three-point line, guarding a deep three-point shooter. Your heels have to be outside that three-point line. Very frustrating back-to-back defensive plays by Jacoby Wright.
Zion Poland makes the first. He's 6th in the SEC at 86% from the free throw line. Gamecocks going with a little bit more size. Cooper gets a breather and some teaching from Lamont Paris, and B.J. Mack enters. Well, in 4 seasons at UC Riverside, was a 1,300-point scorer there with 77 starts and a 3-time Big West Conference performer. He's got the Gators up 8. H.E. Johnson goes to his left to Murray Boyles, and a blocking foul charge to Florida. That's his 2nd on Poland.
I go back to what Todd Golden told his guys in the locker room before the game. If you're not ready to be mentally tough in a massive way for 40 minutes, we've got no shot in this game. And man, his kids, other than the first 3 or 4 minutes, have responded beautifully to that challenge.
Here's B.J. Mack. There's the double. Trying to power through it. And Clayton pulls down the rebound.
He's a below-the-rim guy, and length really bothers him on those rim shots.
Loud finish. Alex Condon came in from Casey for that jam, and it's the largest lead of the contest for Florida. Mack being below the rim sometimes can be an advantage if he's hitting his threes and get those bigs away from the basket. It hasn't been the case today. Shot clock at 6. H.E. Johnson in off the window.
One of the very rare straight line drives we've seen in this game.
Poland trying to find some space and will go to the free throw line.
Florida's middle ball screen action, very difficult to handle, Tom, because of the length that you got of rollers. I mean, you got a 7-footer sealing off in front of the rim, and then a 6'10" guy rolling down the outside pipe. And you just got 2 guys with length that are putting you in a real bind. And on-time, on-target play call by Todd Golden, something we don't talk a lot about. Coaches got to be at their best this time of the year with their play calls and their substitutions, what they're doing with their defensive change-ups on ball screen coverage. Coaches can have bad games too, and there's no time for it right now when you're trying to hang in this rugged SEC race.
What about broadcasters? Are we immune?
No, we're not. Our expectations are not quite as high.
Zion Poland knocks both free throws down. Will Richard returns. Carolina will counter with the 7-footer Josh Gray.
Every coach in this league will tell you South Carolina is Sweet 16 good. I remember when John Calipari went down to Florida. I think it's the opening game of SEC play, and Kentucky won at Florida. I talked to him the next day. He said, I'm telling you, Florida is good enough to win this league this year.
Kentucky had to come from behind and eke out a 2-point win on the road at the O-Dome. Here's Mack for 3. No advantage there today for South Carolina.
If he's going to take him in March, he has to make him in March.
Kugel through traffic. Back outside to Thomas Houck, and that's way off. Carolina trying to chip away this double-digit deficit. Meechie Johnson with a mismatch with the 7-footer on him. Boom! Drilled the three.
Well, he was in here at 7:15 a.m. working his tail off, getting shot ready and game ready. And it just paid off for Meechie Johnson.
I hit the snooze button. He hits jump shots.
It's March, Tom Hart. Wake up. It's time to be urgent with everything we're doing. Oh, nice. Nice. I got a hit song for him if I can just get a minute with him. I got a hit song for Darius Rucker.
Yeah. Well, you got something. Clayton left his feet, still able to get it to Condon. And then a foul inside on Josh Gray, which is his second on the South Carolina big.
Tom Walter Clayton Jr.'s averaged 20 over the last 3, and he's taken 15 shots a game over the last 3. You cannot let him just casually dribble into a three-point shot. Boy, that was a big one right before the half, coming off that ball screen. Mack just wasn't hot enough, and then coming off the screen, bam! That rise, release, rotation of his shot is always true, and if you're South Carolina, you've got to force Clayton to bounce it into his shot right now. He's taken 6 threes in the game and only 1-2. Make him do something off the bounce, remaining 11:28 in this game.
12 points on 4 of 6 from deep. Here's Alex Condon, freshman from Perth, Australia, at the free throw line. His dad, Damien, a great footy player, and his mom, Leah, on the Australian national swim team. Condon played at NBA Global Academy in Australia before coming to Gainesville. He's got 6 now. He was a top prospect in Aussie Rules football, trained with their national team. He's got Florida with a comfortable lead in what has turned into a quiet arena this afternoon. Here's Gray working on Condon, and he fouled him. Josh Gray's first bucket, much needed for Carolina. He'll go to the free throw line.
It's going to happen some. If you're Florida, you just have to play through it. This becomes a chest match, C-H-E-S-T. That contact right there into the chest knocks Condon back a little bit. I love teams that come out of a timeout and they pound that thing inside, sending a message.
Gray just 47% at the free throw line. Senior from Brooklyn trying to bridge this gap. It's now only 6. And Colin Murray Boyles, a fantastic freshman, returns to the floor for the Cox.
And you expect the Colonial Life Arena to rise up right now. They appreciate the defense of this quad. Can they get back-to-back shutouts?
First look is zone from Carolina in this one. They go 1-3-1. Denied on the wing, and a Carolina takeaway. Then a mid-court bump from Clayton, and that is his 3rd.
It was a game of chess on the replay, C-H-E-S-T. Now a game of chess for Lamont Paris to change the defense up a little bit. Florida trying to make a lazy habit pass to reverse the ball, and then the contact occurs.
There's been a lot of contact in the middle third of this floor on transition throughout the entire game.
Tom, I love fan bases that understand the game and appreciate how their team plays. And this fan base rises up when South Carolina's on defense.
Wright has it blocked. By the way, that takeaway for South Carolina resulted in Florida's first turnover in 25 minutes.
Florida really good with their bigs, rotating over. Todd Golden always has a 6'10", a 6'11", a 7-footer protecting that rim, sometimes multiple.
This is one of his Golden's better shooting lineups on the floor with Houck at the 4. Wright for 3 on the inbounds. And into the hands of Thomas Houck and the Gators. Here's Poland. Poland probes, now to Condon. Back to Condon. Hauk extra pass. Poland whips it into the corner. 4 on the shot clock. Riley Kugel. An extra pass, and he threw it away. Back-to-back turnovers for Florida.
Great defense by South Carolina. Little meet and greet as a guy rolled out a ball screen. They put body on body, clamped it off. They were tight as the ball was reversed. They were there on the catch.
I'm a little surprised Kugel didn't shoot.
Yeah, I agree. Just a little lack of awareness, maybe where the shot clock was, didn't handle the pressure well. Feels like a really big trip right now for South Carolina.
It held Florida without a field goal in the last 3 minutes plus. Davis dumps it into Murray Boyle. Shot clock at 5. Power move, and with the left, his strong hand, he'll go to the line.
He has gone to his left on that left block catch every time he's wanted to in this game.
Florida ran a double in the first half. They've gone away from that here.
They have, but even when he gets behind the backboard, he's such a good physical athlete. He can work his way out from behind the backboard, get the ball in the glass, and draw contact.
Murray Boyle's 65% from the stripe. One more coming. College basketball Saturday rolls on. North Carolina has won 5 straight against their rivals in Raleigh. That one's in Chapel Hill. Then Armando Bacot leads the ACC with 14 double-doubles, 3rd in history behind Tim Duncan and Ralph Sampson. And finally, 4th-ranked Tennessee and number 14 Alabama tonight in a primetime matchup.
Yeah, the winner of that one will be in sole possession in the first place in the SEC. To my point about the crowd defensively.
Zone look again. Kugel trapped in the corner, and it's taken away. Here comes Cooper, and now Davis, and it's blocked away. Will Richard, the eraser, Florida the other way with 9 to play. Kugel spins and banks it in. An incredible recovery for Florida, and a timeout for the Gators.
What a massive 20 seconds by the Florida Gators. They got the life trapped out of them on the far side. Kugel did, and it looked like South Carolina had an easy run out, and Will Richard, not Little Richard, just comes from the weak side to take it away, gets ball before it gets on the glass. What does that result in? A Riley Kugel, big-time athlete making a spin play. A big-time 20 seconds for the Florida Gators.
And included in a 4-game win streak was overtime wins against both Georgia and on the road at Rupp Arena. Davis with a long pass inside to Gray, who shares it to to Jacoby Wright. Gray cleans up, and he got fouled on a touch from behind. It's a 3rd from Micah Handlock.
Josh Gray has been very valuable the last couple of minutes. He's a big body kid. Has not started once in conference play. Only gets about 11 minutes. But a really good job of finding that backside. Man, you can't get a cleaner look than that. But Gray not only facilitates with a pass, but stays on that weak side to clean up a miss.
Talking to Lamont Paris earlier this season about Josh Gray, the 7-foot transfer from LSU. He said we need him to contribute
and make free throws. He's a poor free throw shooter. 47% in conference play. And you need every one of them right now if you're the Gamecocks. Probably take 1 out of 2 from him if you're Lamont Paris. And the crowd's roaring again. They love this end of the floor.
A kick by Davis. Where does Florida need to go against this 1-3-1?
You got to get it below the free throw line extended. And Todd Golden's guys have not looked good against it yet. I believe this is the 4th possession. The previous 3 resulted in a stop or a turnover. You got to get into a 2-guard front, Tom, and get the ball below the free throw line extended.
3 straight turnovers against the 1-3-1.
There you go. You got it below. Now something good should shape up out of it.
The defense by Gray inside and Handlock. And shot clock of 5. 3-ball, no. And Wright lets it trickle out of bounds. South Carolina basketball down 5.
Lamont Paris probably going to stay with that 1-3-1 again. Florida has not scored against it. They got the ball below the free throw line extended one time, but that was it. And now he goes to slice chin. Again, all of his play calls are quick hitters. If it's not there, they start grinding away with their passing game.
When does he run 23 skidoo? Here's Murray Boyles, fouled inside by Handlogton, and that is suddenly the 4th on the Florida bid.
You like 23 skidoo?
If it works, run it. Correction, the foul on Samuel. We're back in a moment. Murray Boyles at the free throw line. Well, Parrish knows what it's like to win in the postseason. He catapulted from the Southern Conference to the SEC with a last-second buzzer beater a few years ago in the SoCon tournament. And now with 8 minutes to play in this one, it's a one-possession game.
I love what he said yesterday. A lot of programs talk about culture. We live culture. And these kids are fighters. They were picked dead last in the SEC.
14 out of 14. They're battling for a regular season title. Looking for their second in school history in the SEC. Another near turnover. Shot clock's at 5 against that zone. Here's Pullen. Got a key screen. And he saved it. Wow, Zion Pullen saves a possession and maybe the game.
How big was that? I mean, just a guy absolutely making a play when there's no play to be made.
There have been about 5 monster possessions that could dictate the end of this game throughout the second half. There is the 4th on Handlogton.
Yeah, the rundown of the ball by Pola, and then he immediately gets his eyes on the shot clock. When he gets secure, watch his eyes. Where am I? Oh, I got 4. That means I got 4 dribbles into a shot. A good job by Handlogton to step out with some awareness or free him up with a little bit of a middle ball screen. A big shot and a big screen by Handlogton.
He's going to sit out now with 4. You mentioned it earlier that Florida was able to withstand that first flurry of punches from South Carolina. And think about the individual possessions and plays in which they've done the same. The trap and the turnover from Kugel, and then got it back after a great defensive effort and hit a big bucket, and then the near shot clock violation just a second ago. One more coming for Gray. He used every bit of the rim for that one.
If he makes 2 out of 2, that is money for South Carolina. He's below 50% on the year.
Keeping up with his average. 5-point Florida lead.
The ball's got to get reversed. It's got to get Tom below that free throw line extended. There it is. Force it back down there again. You can't play catch around the perimeter.
This zone has given Florida fits. Corralled by Murray Boyles. Here comes Carolina. Behind Meechie Johnson. Carolina hasn't made a bucket in 4.5 minutes. Johnson got the foul. He identified that early in the possession. Second on Samuel.
Tom, going back to South Carolina being picked 14th. At the SEC Media Days, Lamont Paris pulled me aside. He said, Jimmy, really? Like, I said, Coach, I didn't have a vote. He said, I know, but, like, are we that bad? I said, I don't think so. Like, I know your personnel. You told me about him. He went right back to his guys and said, hey, they picked you 14th out of 14th, and here's why you get picked dead last. That's because everyone thinks we got bad players or we've got a bad coach. And I know who I am as a coach, so the little bit that is on you, man, they have carried that ship the entire time, and I love that about this team.
They listen to that message, and the listening is what he says is the best quality of this squad. But he's able to coach them. Another one for Meechie Johnson. He's got 14, right at his season average. Will Richard returns. Condon takes a seat. Florida get a little bit smaller now.
And the depth of Florida, though, those bigs between Condon, Tyree Samuel, Handlogton, Houck continue to pound away. Stay with the 1-3-1 if you're South Carolina. It has been really good to you.
Gators have added a corner shooter now. Another kick for Davis.
Yeah, can you get it down to Will Richard, who has a better stroke for his career than Riley Kugel? So far this year, Richard has not shot it great.
Kugel was just in Samuel's ear. Corner 3 short. Carolina will push it up to Zachary Davis.
That's how he's like 29% this year is Will Richard.
Runner from Murray Boyles. What a play for the first-year freshman. 2-point Carolina deficit. Handoff blown up, stolen by Davis. 3-on-2. Meechie Johnson from deep. Murray Boyles has it blocked, and they get Kugel.
A great job by Zachary Davis to keep the ball alive. And Florida has to foul. And Colin Murray Boyles, Lamont Paris told us yesterday, he's the one guy that I've got physically to just go make a play at the SEC level. And man, Florida just has not found a rhythm at all against that 1-3-1. The tap right there by Zach Davis keeps it alive, and CMB gets to the free throw line because of it.
Another one coming for Colin Murray Boyles. At his first start of the season, January 13th, in a game against Missouri. Lamont Paris said he was our best player in the preseason. Then he got sick with mono, didn't play 6 games. Took him a while to get that explosiveness back. It is there, and it is there in a big way, and we are tied at 63. 4 turnovers against this 1-3-1 for Florida. And another kick. Zachary Davis might be playing World Cup soccer this summer. That is his 3rd kick at the top of the zone to go with the steal. He is active and long.
Well, you got a 6'10" guy up top that's got a long wingspan. He has great anticipation on disrupting passes. The 1-3 run right now has Florida rattled, and the crowd has Florida rattled.
Kugel wanted the lob. They didn't go for it. Stolen again by Davis. Talon Cooper pulls it out.
Stay aggressive right now if you're South Carolina, right? You got the mojo working.
Johnson battling his way inside. Wow. Carolina in front. It's Meechie Johnson, their first lead since 3:45 the first half.
Todd Golden trying to get to the under 4 media timeout. He's got 2 to use, but he doesn't want to use it right now, knowing it's a tight game down the stretch.
A reach-in by Davis, one of the lone mistakes that Carolina has made defensively.
Lamont Paris told Meechie Johnson, go, make a play. Let him hang and go, and this is exactly what he does, man. He wins the battle for the SEC logo, gets to the left side. Shot selection, Tom, is determined by time, score, and momentum. South Carolina needs to stay aggressive.
Another floater and the finesse from Samuel. You said let him hang. Lamont Paris wants his guys to play loose and free. The second one of those finesse floaters Samuel has hit the second half.
Oh, that's such a hard shot for a big, powerful kid to make. It's like a guard floater.
Cooper cut off. Now they leave him alone, and he buries the three-pointer. His 3rd three. Carolina back in front.
You've got to screen Zachary Davis and get him off the ball. You can't let 12 continue to completely disrupt what you're trying to do offensively. Wow.
Clayton with 3.
What an answer by Clayton. The fill behind. Tom, what a game. Time after time in this league has delivered all season long. Ranked teams fighting for their life.
And these two try to stake their claim as the SEC's best in a fight for the regular season title with 1 week to play. Johnson, 2 ball, good. He's got 18. Carolina leads by a deuce. Poland penetrates and turns it over. 3-on-1. Cooper blocked. And the recovery is good. The effort is wasted defensively because it's cleaned up by Meechie Johnson. Let him eat. Lucky to win that one.
And interesting, Lamont Paris comes out of the timeout showing man-to-man, expecting Todd Golden to spend the entire timeout how we're going to attack the 1-3-1. Change it up just a little bit, and we'll see what happens the next possession.
Cooper with the bump commits his 4th personal. By the way, that last timeout was initiated by Todd Austin on a player injury timeout. When Talon Cooper was down on the floor, we understand that Cooper is just fine and he's back on the court.
Just the 16th foul, so the next one, Florida will be in the bonus as well to finish this game off. Man, you got to be physical right here and not give up one at the rim.
Takeaway against the man, and Murray Boyles ends up with it. What a great defensive effort.
Yeah.
And Amici Johnson had something to say to the Florida bench.
Now just give it to me.
8th steal of the game for this South Carolina defense.
7 turnovers in the second half by Florida is a big, big number when South Carolina's only turned it over twice.
Shot clock's at 4. Mack lets it fly. Murray Boyles kept it alive, and a timeout asked for across the end line. It will be Florida basketball. Timeout wasn't granted because Cooper was bobbling it. How about the steal zone? Man, doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, South Carolina is very aggressive right here. You're weak with that basketball, and Amici Johnson just eats it up. And that's Cooper, I believe. But either way, Florida, you've got to own your spot in this game offensively right now. Man, zone, defense, it doesn't matter. I like screening the top right now, Tom. You got to knock Zach Davis out of the play.
Results in a corner 3 from Google. He drew that up in the last timeout, but couldn't get to it in possession.
But to my point, you screen the top of that 1-3-1. Now you got numbers coming downhill. Really well done and a big shot out of the corner.
1:40 to play, 1-point game. Murray Boyles with his first career double-double today. Johnson into the paint. Got him!
There have been a lot of tough twos in this game that you got to take and make. Man, what a game again in the SEC on Saturday.
Pullen kicks it out. A Clayton 3 is good! And we are tied at 74. 6th 3 of the game for Walter Clayton Jr.
Back-to-back possessions. Todd Golden screens 12 in white, gets the guard advantage, makes the defense shrink, and the fill behind 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Freshman Murray Boyles, 10 on the shot clock. Tie game. 5 on the shot clock. Amici Johnson!
And this guy was in full sweat at 7:15 this morning. That's what I've been calling for. Screen the top of that 1-3-1. Now you've got numbers when you come down off of it. Kugel with a massive 3 from that far corner from us. Amici Johnson. The ball knows who deserves to make shots and who doesn't. Who's put in the work? Amici Johnson did it this morning, and man, he just stuck a big one to have the Gamecocks up 3. Keep Florida off the offensive glass. They're the 3rd best offensive rebound team in the country.
Gators have hit 10 threes. They out for the 2 and are denied at the rim, and then a foul from Tyrese Samuel, his 3rd.
And they did what they had to do, South Carolina. They forced a pretty tough 2, and they cleaned up the miss. Florida just not able to do damage on the offensive glass in this second half. Pullen gets by, right opens his hips open a little, but Colin Murray Boyles just hangs in there, doesn't come over and get attracted to the ball too much, so he can clean up that weak side rebound.
And Jimmy, to your point that you made earlier, in fact, early in the half, Florida is still without an offensive rebound here in the second half. That is unconscionable for a team that really leans on that. Murray Boyles has 1 more.
Tom, it's a testament to the strength, the character, the belief in South Carolina and Lamont Paris in terms of how they are supposed to play the game.
Murray Boyles has been money. He's got 15, his first career double-double, 2-possession game. Florida will use a quick timeout.
Dead last in this league.
Pullen to Samuel, gets it right back. They want to get something quick. Here's Clayton for 3. Rebounded by Florida. First offensive rebound of the half, but it's kicked back to Carolina. The shot clock is off with 21 seconds remaining.
I don't see anything other than Will Richard, right?
I agree.
5 in blue with the last paw on the ball.
Florida still has a timeout remaining. They're able to steal one here during the review, and now they point South Carolina's basketball, confirming it. Houck is on the floor to offer a foul. They beat it by pushing ahead to Davis. And Murray Boyles stepped on the inline, turned it over with 18 and a half left, and he may be hurt. But you see the freshman up to his feet.
Yeah, why right now if you're Zachary Davis? I mean, the possession of the ball and the clock is the most important thing, and you've left the door open.
10 of 22 from deep for Florida, trailing by 5. Kugel in the far corner. Clayton has a quick release. He lost it on the crossover, but they get Murray Boyles for the foul. Gators still have life.
Florida goes pistol action a little bit on the side, and I don't see the contact there. Colin Murray Boyles, if he reached, I'm not sure that he got it, but boy, these are 2 big free throws now to keep pressure on South Carolina to close it out.
9th in the league at 84% on the season. And Walter Clayton Jr. now 1 of 2 from the line today. This to make it a 1-possession game.
South Carolina has a timeout if they get hung up and can't get the ball in, and everybody has to know it. Get organized, don't rush. Good job by Cooper to let his guys get organized. Now the press break is on.
They get it in immediately, and a quick whistle will send Jacoby right to the free throw line.
Tom, I want to go back how smart that was by Cooper to let the ball bounce, not get in a rush, don't put the 5-second count on early, let his guys get organized with a press breaker. What a high IQ, small thing in basketball that 55 in white just did.
We'll get you to Tucson for Oregon and Arizona as soon as we finish here. And that's huge, a 4-point lead with 12.4.
Only 6 teams in the country top 20 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Arizona is one of them coming up next.
Wright goes 1 of 2. Gators down 4. Carolina can't foul. Clayton wants to shoot the 3. Got Murray Boyles in the air, and he didn't blow the whistle. He got the block. South Carolina will try to milk it away with 2.1 remaining.
Dangerous, dangerous defensive play by Colin Murray Boyles. But man, what a second half fight back and comeback by the Gamecocks. Tom, the 1-3-1 changed the game, and Florida took them too long to adjust to it. To get that ball below the free throw line and start screening the top of it, they will learn from it going forward. And South Carolina picked 14th out of 14. On the verge of being right there at the top of the SEC. Just stay on the ground if you're Colin Murray Boyles. That was so close to being a possible foul on a 3-point shooter.
Davis splashes it down. It's a 6-point lead with 2 to play. Kugel will float it up there and find nothing. And South Carolina, another ranked win here at home. An 82-76 final. They are down 10 in the second half. The zone turned this entire thing around.